Welcome to the old Hyacombe Hotel, which now, as we know, it's now renamed to the Teacher Gully Heritage Museum. We've brought you here tonight to have a little bit of a walk around. We've actually come to film a little doll video to investigate my baby doll, but as we turned up, the lights were on, and the lights are never on. So as you can see, we haven't touched anything, we've left it as we've just discovered. We turned up and all these lights were on. So let's take a walk in and see what we can find. See if everything's in its place. Sometimes things move around in here, which is quite intriguing. So now we're entering the world of 1854. I also walked in here, and this is as far as I got, and I actually found a teddy bear on the floor, which obviously he's not meant to be there, just down underneath the chair. We do have a lot of child spirits in this building, so it's quite intriguing. There's a little teddy bear on the floor, and as you know, the general public are not coming into this building, and they won't be for quite some time, so it's quite unusual that there's a teddy bear on the floor. So maybe we'll just have a quick walk around and we'll just see if there's anything else out of place. Okay, obviously all our crap's here. So James's equipment and my dolls. I don't leave the house without a doll generally. I don't see anything out of place in this room as yet. Have a little brief look. We'll just go through this area and see if there's anything else. Mostly looking for things that could be on the floor, or like lights that are on, things like that. Toys on the floor. Alright, so it's not too much out of place apart from the lights being on when we turned up. We saw them as we were driving up to the hill. And James banging into a chair. And the bear on the floor. But maybe we'll go upstairs and we'll see what that's like. There's something on the floor here.
Oh, that's one of the hooks
Yeah.
for the photos.
I'll just leave it here. Hello? We're just coming in to have a look. Lots of child spirits, and this is the room that they like to be. So it's actually been set up really nicely so they can sit and play. We actually noticed this last time we were here. This is out of place, obviously. It's not meant to be there.
Nothing too out of the ordinary.
Not really, no. Apart from that. And a cute little fluffy dog.
That can be the thumbnail.
Yeah, there's nothing out of the ordinary. Might do another little video on these down the track to tell you the little dark history to these old baby bottles. I actually love them. I've got a few of them in my collection at home. Alright, well maybe we'll go to Hilda's room then. Not really seeing anything out of the ordinary in this room. Are you?
No. Seems normal.
That probably should be right in the middle. That doesn't look right.
No.
That's...
And both of those chairs are facing the same way.
Yeah, that's weird.
What do you think?
That's just a very good point, because if you look at them from this angle over here, that's really damn weird.
It's like a little schoolroom. In a way.
It's like children playing, yeah. Look at that furniture there. Like, that's never been there before. That's always right smack bang in the middle. But it should be moved perfectly there in the middle. It's covering up half the, like, not half, but less than a quarter of the head. And that's bizarre. That's very odd. Look at it from here. That is bizarre, isn't it? Hello?
Can't really see anything amiss in here other than the bath.
I don't see anything missing, but that chair's weird, how it's facing this way like that. Because it's not like they've moved anything to paint the walls, it's everything's exactly as it was left. No one's been in here at all. So that's weird, because generally, for example, like it should be like that. So to be facing this way like that, and mind you, this kind of thing has happened before, hasn't it, James?
Yeah, one night when we were doing a lock-in here, we came and there was, all the lights were on and everything was just crazy. Because because that cupboard was open.
Yeah.
And there was heaps of stuff had fallen out of that.
Yeah,
and
there was a coat hanger on the floor, wasn't there?
Yeah, and down in the end room there was that chair that was spun around facing the corner.
Yeah, like a naughty child's chair or something. Back in the day when they would have made a child face the wall for punishment. I want to introduce you to a very special doll from my collection, and she is the doll that actually started off my collection with haunted, spirited dolls. Aside from collecting all sorts of dolls, which I've been doing for many, many years, this doll I actually got around about 2013. My mum bought her for me, and this was a birthday present. She was a very special birthday present. She came in this basket. She came with a few other pieces of clothing as well. And I would say roughly, she probably is roughly an 1800s, maybe late 1800s doll, if not possibly early 1900s. I've never, being a doll collector, I've never seen another doll like her. I haven't seen any other dolls like her in books or anything. I don't know where she came from. I don't know where she was made. I have no idea about anything to do with this doll. And I actually like researching antique dolls myself. I collect antique dolls, modern dolls, all sorts of dolls. But this doll started off my collection of haunted dolls. And my mum actually bought her for me for a birthday present. So when I was given this doll, she was in my room maybe for the first day. But then I put her into my doll room, which is where all of my dolls go. I've got shelves and old antique cots. And I placed all my dolls in my room. And this is where she was put. And then I discovered one time I was sitting on Facebook and I found a page somewhere in America, some in the US, and I can't quite remember now, unfortunately, what page it was, but I actually posted up a photo of her and I said, does anyone know anything about this doll? I was hoping more so to find out information, possibly what kind of doll she was or where she was from. But one lady actually, she was a medium clairvoyant, and she actually said on there that the spirit attached to this doll is actually scared of you. She doesn't feel comfortable and you haven't given her the opportunity to get to know you. So what you need to do is basically before you go to bed at night, you need to sit down and you need to hold her and you need to let her know that she's in a safe place. So sure enough, I did that. I sat at the end of my bed, I held her as I'm holding her now, and I basically just cuddled it for a little while. And that night, and I left her in the basket, in this basket. I left her in there next to me, next to where I was sleeping. And sure enough, roughly around the time of 1:30 to 2 a.m, I awoke to what felt like tiny, tiny little taps on my feet and on my lower legs. So tiny it felt like possibly the fingers of a young child, like a toddler, maybe a 2-year-old, something like that. And it was just tapping, like it was trying to wake me up, to try and get my attention, like a child would when they want to drink in the middle of the night, or they want to get up to play and they just want you to wake up. So it felt like someone was trying to get my attention. And this went on for quite some time. And I actually woke and I was actually quite scared. My body was completely frozen. There wasn't anything I could do. I knew that it wasn't my own child. My own child was sleeping in his bed. And I was actually really frozen. And I just lay there feeling this complete sensation of what felt like a really cold finger tapping on my leg and my foot. And then it stopped. So I lay there for a while, waiting. Nothing happened. And then all of a sudden it started up again. And this went on for quite some time. And I just experienced it. And it's something I haven't experienced since, I must admit. But it was absolutely amazing. However, roughly about 5 to 6 weeks later, I was actually studying at the time, and one night I was doing an assignment and I was getting too tired, and I wouldn't say that this was a vision from being tired. Some people think that can happen, but no, it definitely wasn't. I finished my assignment, it was between the hours of roughly 12 to 1 a.m, and I packed up my stuff. I got up, left the room, started walking towards my bedroom. Now where my bedroom is, if you're facing from my dining room looking towards, you sort of look down a hallway and there's 3 stairs that lead up down the hallway to my bedroom. My bedroom's on the left at the end. I physically saw what totally 100% looked like a young infant child, and it was glowing white. It was absolutely glowing. It was amazing. And this little spirit just walked out of my bedroom for a few seconds and then it just faded. And it was wearing what looked like late 1800s, late Victorian clothing from head to foot. And this was like crocheted bonnet and a crochet or lace sort of gown, like a nightgown. So it must have been roughly between the ages of, I would say, 1 to 2 when a child will start walking for the first time. It was just so young, maybe 2 at the oldest. And she just walked, I believe it's a girl, that's what I feel, and she just walked slowly, gracefully out of my bedroom, and then she just faded. So she is the attachment to this doll, and that happened as soon as she came into my house. Lots of things happened. Little childlike voices were heard, and just very, very special. And one more thing I actually want to mention is that James and I are friends with Anthony Quinata, the owner of Harold the Doll, and this gorgeous doll actually spent the night in a cell in Gladstone Jail in South Australia with Harold the doll. We actually left her the whole night with Harold, and we had some amazing footage. James set up his camera. Unfortunately, it's another story yet again to talk about, but someone actually took the camera and stole our SD card. But she spent the night in the jail with Harold, so some people are actually worried, what if the spirit attached to Harold possibly may have attached itself to this doll, but no, it hasn't, and she's well quite protected, so nothing like that dark sort of has happened with this doll. However, a lot of strange things happened in my house shortly after Harold went back to America, but it's not linked to this doll, but she did spend the night with him. I also want to mention that whenever people have investigated this doll, or they've been around her for paranormal evenings, groups of people, generally it's the youngest person of the group. And I'm talking probably the youngest was around about 13 or 14. It's always the youngest person who experiences slight tugging of their hair, slight tugging of their pants or skirt, or tapping on the lower legs near the ankles. They've always mentioned experiencing these things at the end of the night when they've left. And we never tell people about this at the beginning of the night. We never tell people what others have experienced. And every time without fail, we get the same results, the same sort of comments from people saying, well, I felt this, I felt someone pulling my hair, I felt like someone was following me around the whole night, I felt tapping on my lower ankles, sort of at the bottom of their legs, or tugging of their clothing. And it's always when they're around this doll. So you can come out to play now. I've got some little blocks here. Got some little blocks. Do you want to come and play? I've got some green blocks, yellow, orange, blue. Do you want to talk? Would you like to talk? There's some people that might want to get to know you. And they might want to know what your name is. Can you tell us what your name is? See these blocks? Would you like to play with them? I'm going to put them up high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you want to build with me? We can build together.